Followed by the pig, who saw first takeoff in the Philippines during the Japanese invasion, even used as a fighter and a bomber aircraft in those grim days of 1941-42. Been on these races. And the pilot now turning them on finals, coming much slower downwind, is the Volksplane. Listen to this cassette race as it goes past. Just imagine if you had... Slide along on mountain waves. Two stopped his engine now. Spoilers. That disturbs the airflow on the top of the wings such that it slows the aircraft down, increases the drag, and there's the engine just stopped now. It's flying overhead, no engine, just using it as a sail plane. Very much hoping that the starter works. Yes, there it goes again. Off he goes. Ladies and gentlemen, if you look out to the north now, there's one. Have a look. Very low over the fence now, only about 20 feet high. Sail plane coming in front. Really caught us unawares. And that was the motorised sail plane that we saw take off some time ago. The actual motor's been retracted into the fuselage. Just seen his undercarriage go down, and he'll turn base very shortly.
Now the Nomad reverses the pitch and the propeller, and like the Caribou, it backs up to the taxiway. Not a bad trick. Turboprop aircraft, and it fires. Here goes Bill McIntyre again for a short takeoff. Look at that Nomad thing. It's flying all over the sky. It's really waltzing around.
I think you're going to see quite a competition between the Nomad and the Caribou. The old Caribou, much older aircraft than Nomad. Cycle C-55 on an Army specification, the US Army specification. And the Canadian company produced it. And then there was one...
Jones in flight facilities for the Department of Aviation, just on the air then talking to the organiser of the show, Don Pollock, and they've done a great job today, the Department of Aviation, as they do all the time, controlling all the airspace, 100 kilometres radius around Cooma. Billy McIntyre finishes his run in the Nomad and will taxi into...
Tom, how much time do you need on the Caribou? Caribou time will be approximately...
aircraft, the Nomad. Caribou on the Nomad on the plane. John, when they go up like that, they're almost keyed up.
One in the cabin, which shakes the stick for you automatically once you get slow. Otherwise, the itself is quite docile, and if you're at height, you don't really notice it until you look at the vertical speed indicator, and you find that in fact you're going down quite fast and you've lost quite a lot of height. In the full stall of an aircraft of that type, particularly at high weights, lose around about 1,500 to 2,000 feet in recovery.
I'll get this right this time. Caribou with a slow run past. The Caribou is from the RAAF Richmond base. Probably seen them around Cooma quite a bit as they use the air for training flights. As it turns to come over the airport and demonstrate some of its short landing and takeoff techniques. Now the Nomad will just power on the engine. Oh, the Caribou will power the engine on. Just watch it take off on front wheels, rear wheels in the air, off it goes. This is virtually horizontal adjustment.
Gives about 5 metres clearance either side, lands on this runway. Here he is coming in, he's going to touch down round about the 500 foot mark. by the National Safety Council. Caribou running down the strip now on one wheel, side wheel, now on his left wheel. Yeah, very clever. Running the two aircraft along the one wheel. Off in the air.
Terminal. Landing at the taxiway 1, pulling up for taxiway number 2. Okay, I'd like to hand over to Andrew Jones from the National Safety Council.
Thank you very much. National. Once the boats are hooked on, the crewmen start with on board the aircraft. Now, it's not only personnel, it'll be a stretcher, somebody in it, the blokes are propelled down to the lower stretcher, put them in, and take them off to specialist care. And away they go. Quite cold there arms out to rest. Most of it stops spinning. Sometimes a problem with winches. The only way to stop the spin is put them back on the ground.
Well, thanks very much, National Safety Council of Australia. Your Beach King Air, I think, is still available for inspection, is that right? Good. And a view demo from the Iroquois. You can see the harbour climbing off up there towards Cooma and Sydney. Thanks, mate. And we'll now draw. This is a trip to Sydney for 2 people, and the second prize, John, if you wouldn't mind picking out another one, is a trip to Melbourne for 2 people. So Melbourne's on top. Hang on, I'll just rearrange this. The prize is for an Air New South Wales pocket flight to Sydney for 2 people. Fine Rimbula too, if you like. And it's ticket number 1572. Ticket 1572. If you'd come over to the stand, or we'll put this in the paper. And the prize to Melbourne is with Kendall Airlines 1464. 1464.
Ladies and gentlemen, look to the south of the airfield, just north of Wollongong, in there, gliding. The world champion hang glider pilot is in fact an Australian at the moment as well. Is holding world champion parachutist and aerobatic pilot. Dickie Nell departing there in the stomp, as we said before, for those who missed, is the world champion Tiger Moth pilot for aerobatic. Here's this intrepid aviator. He's just dropped the string and now he's gliding over the top.
Just want to thank while the Caribou fellows are out refueling. We just want to thank them for the trip this morning down from Canberra. But yesterday they flew from Richmond, and it was really a great demonstration. The Caribou and the Nomad, a very enjoyable climax to the air show. I'd like to remind you too that Kendall and Air New South Wales have rescheduled their flights, and they'll be coming in earlier this afternoon. They'll be in here at about 4:15 and 4 o'clock if you'd like to see the Friendship and one of the Kendall aircraft. I've got a card here for ANZ Bank, Andrew Milne. Andrew Milne, it's a card that I can't use, I suppose, but there you are, ANZ Bank, if anybody owns that. Andrew Milne. Beautiful. We don't see as many hang gliders around here as we used to. Do you think there's restrictions on the sport now, or do you think it's just perhaps...
I think it's winter time, isn't it?
I meant in the last couple of years. Yes. Do you think the enthusiasts sort of move out and maybe that's the reason?
They have moved out to better areas, I think it's better areas for landing and also safety areas so far as pilots concerned in major aircraft.
Perhaps the wind factor here would be a problem. We have many downdrafts. Of course, the glider pilots like that. The gliders out of Bunyan think it's a wonderful area for updraft. There's a nice landing, Don. Oh, it's pretty good. How about a big hand for the hang glider? And the pilot. The unknown, yes, the unknown soldier. Here's another fellow behind him in the air. Looks like he's having fun, but almost stalling. Is it possible to loop a loop?
Yes, it is possible, but I don't think this particular design. Maybe if you feel that you'd like to see Cooma this afternoon or Jindabyne, the joy flights will be available as soon as this Birdman is on the ground. So please go to the corner office on the corner of the terminal building there, and you'll be able to get your joy flight ticket. Thank you very much indeed for your attendance this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We enjoyed having you, and we hope that we'll have a bigger and better air show to present to you sometime in the future.
John, I want to thank you for coming too, and your dog, because you're really a great team together. In fact, I wouldn't mind to hear of the tale that bit us last night. We'll hear of the dog that bit us last night. It has been a great air show. I'd like to thank Cooma Rotary Club for putting it together. Doug Trelaw in particular was the man behind the air show, but it certainly needed a club effort, and I'd like to thank the Rotary Club who helped us also. Of course, as part of the Man from Snowy River Festival, and we hope that you enjoyed it as well. But don't go away, there's still joy flights. If you'd like to have a flight this afternoon, once we clear a bit of some of the traffic. Here's our easy man going back to Marimbula. You could probably turn off over Brown Mountain, could you, and glide down? Right. And we still have the hang glider hanging in there. It looks like a great sport. It's all done on movement of the body. That's complete control. Now, how do you, when you panic, how do you...
Well, here he is. He's going back now, coming out of his harness.
Beautiful landing. Look at that. Yeah. The Nomad won the Nomad Caribou competition. The weather's been very, very kind to us. We'd like to thank also State Emergency Service, the National Safety Council of Australia, the police, Cooma Police, the ambulance, State Emergency Service, I think I mentioned them, and of course the Fire Brigade for their attendance at the air show today. Rotary Club of Cooma is to be thanked, Rotaractors, and the Shire Council of Snowy River, who